Well, you know, it's time for that weekly show. It's David and Grant. There is also Bo. It's every 7 days or so. I sometimes sing the intro, and we will start the show. Yes, we will. Sonic Weekly. I'm Grant, back here again. Thank you for rejoining the show, Sonic Weekly, the show where we talk about Sonic the Hedgehog every 7 days or so. And with me, as usual, as always, it's Bo. Hi, Bo.
Beat me up and bravo. I could listen to that track for 4 or 5 minutes. How long are the acts? About that long.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. And out of the shadows, into the spotlight, the star of the show, David the Lurker. Hi, David.
Whoa. Hi, Grant. Hi, Bo. If it were actually playing on a Genesis, I'm afraid that your vocals would have been too clear. So I got to dock you for authenticity, but otherwise.
And we're joined by a frequent guest of the show, also sometimes mentioned even when he's not here, which is like a special honor in and of itself, from samandfuzzy.com and the popular Instagrams and other social medias popping off. You're following him. It's Sam Logan. Hi, Sam.
Hi, it's me. I'm also here.
And I've joined us all together to hear me sing, really, and to solicit feedback mostly. Also, we talk about Sonic news. We've got a hot take from Sam. We're going to talk about DK Bananza, which I'm very excited about, and also, we'll get to it. But and also Rings of Saturn, but we'll get to all of it. So, David, how are you? Should you lead us through the news first?
Oh, I
Please.
I guess so. I guess we could. I'm doing good, and I guess we could do some news. What's Sonic news? Tell me if you've heard this one before. There's a game coming out this month.
What is it?
Oh yeah, it's called Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. It's a kart racer. It's got Sonic the Hedgehog.
They're making a kart racing game?
Yeah.
It's sort of like Garfield Kart Racer 2, but with Sonic. They put out the social media post today on Thursday, right? It came out today, not yesterday. The King Dodonpa fake car commercial.
Yeah,
it was today. Donnie's used cars.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
King Donnie.
Well done. Well executed. Yeah, I thought that was one of the stronger beats of the campaign, particularly on social media and on YouTube. I really enjoyed the humor of it, as it were. Kudos to the team and that ad agency whose name I forgot. I looked them up and I was like, oh, that's cool. It was these guys.
I did kind of wonder like how many of the people buying this game are like old enough to have organically experienced television commercials like that.
I was wondering the same thing.
What was heartbreaking was seeing the comments that were like, oh, this is just like a 2000s commercial. I mean,
well, I guess they still had them then.
Yeah.
Still had them.
That was on the tail end.
I mean, I guess commercials like that probably still exist now. You just need to actually have television and watch it.
Yeah, those never stop. They still are happening. But who will see them? Not us.
Oh, well, why not? Do you not have terrestrial television? You get those bunny ears?
I have not had any form of cable since 2005.
Since 2005? That's so long.
Yeah, it's because that's when I moved out of my parents' house and I've never had it.
Well, I mean, like, when did Netflix streaming become a thing?
I think it really popped off like 2012 when they had the reboot of Arrested Development. Like they were streaming before that. Like probably the earliest was like 2008, but everybody got it with Arrested Development.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm just curious, like, what were you doing then before Netflix?
You could buy DVDs at Walmart.
Yeah. But
it was also the golden age of Hulu. You could go on Hulu.com in 2008 and stream Arrested Development, and it was great.
We don't have a Hulu in Canada, but yeah, I mean, I used to remember like a show would be on and people would say it was good, and then when the season was over, you would go and just buy the DVDs and watch it.
I did that with Arrested Development, but I also watched Arrested Development a lot on Hulu, the original version of Hulu.
Yes, the good Hulu.
When I was working at the radio station back in Toledo, Ohio, I would just kind of queue up Arrested Development on Hulu, watch it there, go home, continue watching Arrested Development on DVD, really just loving the layered jokes and the long payoff setups that they would do. Felt like it was brilliant. Loved it so much. The performances, great. A+ show. And yeah, shout out to Arrested Development. Good job 20 years ago.
Definitely some of the first DVDs I ever bought, Arrested Development.
Same for me. Yeah. Most watched show. This is off topic, but I do think season 4, the first Netflix one, is very different from the original 3, but also kind of genius. And I know that's a polarizing hot take, but I'm gonna make it.
Do you own any post season 3 seasons on DVD?
No, I think I only watched them on Netflix.
Yeah.
I have the first 3, of course.
Right. I think they exist, but I don't think anybody has bought them.
I feel like they took quite a while before they put them out, and then I remember seeing them at Costco at some point and being like, "Oh, so they are going to put like the Netflix streaming shows out on DVD eventually."
Yeah.
Oh.
While we're on legacy television and Canada, when I was very young, my family had one of those big satellite dishes in our yard, and we would watch Canadian television all morning when I was a little kid, like Canadian content TV shows.
What did
David
you
the
watch?
Gnome. I was like 3, so this is a fuzzy memory, but I remember, sitting on the couch,
like Mr. Dress-Up.
Oh, for sure. If you told that to my dad right now, he would be like, "Yeah, our kids couldn't get enough Mr. Dress-Up."
That's so funny. Canadian institution.
I remember Mr. Dress-Up. Yeah, he dressed up. Well, I lived in Detroit, so we got Canadian television because of Canada.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you just could beam it
It was
over.
just there. Yeah.
I frequently was visiting Buffalo. We also had access to Canadian television via that, the Peace Bridge. Thanks. Also, my family also had the big early, mid-90s pre-DirecTV satellite dish, which squeaked because it would need to be oiled. So as it turned, it would physically turn to like find the rays. So I would be like 13, sneaking out for some Skinamax.
Whoa.
Not finding a Paul McCartney movie, but finding Cinemax. But I'm waking up the whole neighborhood because it's like moving.
Just so you can
like 11 p.m.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. I'd be like, no, I got to watch South Park. I'm turning it over to. But it wasn't even like somebody would be like, oh, do you watch this thing on Channel 4? I'm like, we don't have channels. We have it was like Station X Channel 33. Was that like it for you? Was that similar setup?
Yeah, you're actually like tuning into a particular satellite and then like one of the slots on the satellite.
Oh.
Right.
Wow, that's so wild. Yeah, I mean, my aunt had satellite television. She had one of those big satellites in the backyard, but I was never at her house long enough to take advantage of said satellite. No, instead her husband at the time would just sit in the den and watch things, avoiding all family members during any family gatherings at said house. So couldn't sit down and watch anything. No, had to engage, had to hang out with the cousins, I guess, doing whatever it is we did.
Mm-hmm.
So bringing it back, we like the Don Pod commercial.
Yes.
Yeah, look, no, we've moved on. This is no longer a Sonic show.
Well, hang on. I want to ask you. I want to ask you to compare it to the old school look-alike Superstars commercial. Did you like that one?
No,
I don't remember that one.
The no running one.
I mean, I think I've mentioned this before on various episodes of this show, but I have not been a big fan of most. I mean, I don't know if I've enjoyed any of like the modern regular commercials, not game trailers, not random promo stuff, but just like here's the main commercial that you would see on TV. I haven't liked them.
How do you feel about the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Genesis commercials, which are kind of similar in tone, where it's like making fun of like infomercials with Sonic 2, like you can apply it to a bald spot or whatever they say. And then Sonic 1 is like Andy Daly, or not Andy Daly, excuse me.
I don't think it's actually Andy Dick. People have said it's Andy Dick.
Oh, really? It's not Andy Dick?
I don't think it's Andy Dick now.
You don't think it's Andy Dick, huh?
I don't think that's Andy Dick. No, one.
Okay. I
don't see
kind of like
Tolkien anywhere on that. No, it's
I kind of like the Superstars one because it reminds me of all of the game commercials I would see on Channel 1 News in school. This is a weird
Channel 1.
You had the Channel 1 too. It was the weirdest thing. Homeroom in the morning. We would all watch television. It would be like 3 minutes of news. 10 minutes of candy and video game commercials.
Yes.
And then like a little reported segment. and then more candy and video game commercials.
What?
And I feel like this would have slotted right in.
And
those.
we loved those commercials.
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember the Game Boy Color being announced and a hush falling over my classroom.
They had commercials in school?
It's
the
weirdest thing. The one that really sticks out to me is the Nintendo 64 Bomberman commercial where they do the Spider-Man song, Bomberman.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. I remember seeing the Smash commercial where they punch each other to the Happy Together song.
Yes.
Why did they have commercials in school? Were the schools getting
It was
paid?
educational. It was news. I think they had a big satellite dish out on in the schoolyard. They had to put it through somehow.
This is very alien to me. I mean,
I've mentioned this to other people and they think it's the craziest thing. And then other people who had it in their schools think like, oh yeah, Lisa Ling. She did this Channel 1 news segment.
I was trying to search for that name. I was like, who is the main Lisa Ling?
She went on to have a real
she was on CNN and MSNBC and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Whoa. It's a real person.
David, I'm sort of surprised. Sam, it's understandable being Canadian, not understanding this strange thing. And, we also do like a Pledge of Allegiance, which sometimes Canadians find
that's also very strange.
Just we get up and all pledge allegiance to the flag since you're a little kid.
Yeah, that's a little strange. Well, one of the first year when I was in grade 1, they still had us do God Save the Queen. But they were I think that was kind of anachronistic even at the time for Canada, but like in Victoria where I grew up, it's like a particularly like Britishy part of Canada, so I think they maybe kind of like held on to it, but by grade 2 they weren't doing it anymore.
Okay. Grant, Bo, do you remember when, like, was there a point when we stopped doing the Pledge of Allegiance, right?
We never did it in my school.
Oh.
Which I think might have been against state law.
Wow.
But we didn't really do it. When I moved to a new school and they did it, I thought it was the weirdest thing.
Wow.
Because they would play like a record over the intercom.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez. That's kind of going an extra mile with it. I remember being a little bit of a rebel with it in one of the grades, probably grade 4, because I remember being handed a chapter book by a teacher, and it was a very direct, like, it was a fictional story, but it was about a boy who didn't do the Pledge of Allegiance. You know this book?
By Avi, right? AVI, that's the author, right? Avi?
I don't know.
Wait,
I don't know.
You're the one bringing up the book.
How would I know? I don't remember the book.
Right. It's a thing
I just
where
don't remember the book.
Right. Wait, was it a thing where like he went to do it and like he wasn't doing it?
He doesn't know the words.
He doesn't know the words.
That's the whole like gag of it. Like it's like it seems like he's not doing it out of protest, but he like doesn't know how it goes. He's like put on the spot and he like doesn't know it or something like that.
Really? Oh, I must be thinking about a different book.
It's possible. It's
it was something called Nothing But the Truth, a documentary
that's
novel.
It. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Nothing But the Truth. Let me see if I recognize the cover. Whoa, that's not it.
That's not the the one on Wikipedia. That is not the cover I remember.
No, okay, yeah. But this is it. You're right. Avi, a documentary novel by, I don't remember that part of it, but maybe that's because it's insane.
Well, I think it is sort of like in the book, isn't there like some of it is transcripts and stuff? Like it's meant to kind of read like...
Right, it's the Blair Witch Project. This is why we all bought into the Blair Witch Project, because they were giving us books like this of like, well, there was a boy and he, famous case, you never heard about it, but here's a book. Right,
but the whole thing is like he's basically mocking it, and the teacher is like, no, you're suspended, but everyone thinks that like he spins it to make it sound like the teacher is being unpatriotic.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, because then the zinger, spoilers for this book from 1991, at the end, according to the Wikipedia summary, Philip ultimately decides to transfer to a private school. The book ends where he is asked to lead his classmates in singing the national anthem. He cries and admits that he does not know the words. So it's like it's this whole thing, and he paints himself as the victim when in fact he's not the victim. And then it's like, oh, he doesn't even know the thing. Like nobody even bothered. Yeah. The main theme of the novel is the subjectivity of truth, and that while individual statements may be true, taken separately, they may not give an accurate picture of an event. Well, there you go. I remember liking that book a lot.
I remember that ending. I got the rest of the details wrong, but I called that ending, man. So that's proof that I at least
right.
It. Sorry, but you say you liked it? You wanted to see a movie of it? You want to star in it and direct it?
Oh, yeah, that's what I said. And then later I remember being amused because the author's name is Avi, AVI, like the file format. Yeah.
David, stop me if you've heard this one before.
Okay.
There is a Sonic collaboration happening.
Not another one. Okay.
But this one I'm excited about. And this one's not even confirmed yet. This is a rumor.
Oh, is this the one involving Rocket League?
Yes. I
Yeah.
play
you love
Rocket League. And I also play Fortnite. And I don't know how they'll do it. They'll do some skibbity-boo skins of it. Probably the Sonic shoes, because you can buy shoes for some of the characters. Probably not Sonic as a skin, although who knows?
Tall man.
The proportions just seem impossible, but Sonic Man, I think, has been put out as an idea that I fully support. That would be perfect. Sonic Man skin. And this is a collaboration I'm excited about. It's a rumor, but we're reporting on it because Sonic Stadium did.
That's right. We report on every Sonic Stadium rumor. Look at those rumors. They're stocking up. They're piling up. There's so many rumors. There's that rumor. I guess I should say, you mentioned the Rocket League. It's basically just like the rumor there is cross promotion. We don't really know anything else about it. So just that it exists.
Right.
I just wanted to say that once we move on, because there really is nothing to say aside from, like you said, you're excited because you play Rocket League. Are you playing it right now?
I am not. It's been a couple weeks, actually. But when the Sonic thing comes, that'll be a nice excuse to pick it back up. Maybe there will be a Switch 2 update. It looks pretty good on Switch 2, even just without the update.
Okay.
Looks better than Switch 1.
But yeah, here's another rumor. Somebody took a photo of the back of the Crossworlds box. You know how game stores put up boxes, but there's no games in it. They just want you to know it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, they flipped it over, took a photo. Who is there? It's Knights. That's who it is.
Knights is a Sonic character. Has been for quite some time. I think we just need to accept that.
Yeah.
What form will Knights take is my question. Will they be a driver or an automobile?
I don't like the automobile. I know Knights is a sleigh in the first game.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with it. It's too weird.
Yeah.
I think if the leak thing is real, like based on how it's depicted on the box, he must be in as a character. Because it's on the box, and there's like fun characters, and there's like Joker and Knights like as characters.
It looked pretty real to me. I'd be surprised if somebody went to that length to fake it. I mean, if they did, great job.
Yeah.
You can't believe anything anymore.
That's right.
Not with AI.
Not with the AIs.
I like how on Sonic Stadia the banner image shows a silhouette with a question mark, as in
the silhouette's pretty distinctive.
Yeah, Knights is pretty distinctive. You can't. Hey, you know what? I'm into Knights. Bring on Knights. Why not? It's still Journey of Dreams Knights.
I don't love Journey of Dreams Knights design, but
No,
I'll take Knights. I love Knights.
Yeah.
It was pointed out by our pal Barry that it seems like the Knights outfit alternates with each guest appearance in a Sonic racing game. Like it's sometimes Knights into Dreams, then it's Journey of Dreams. Then it's back to Knights into Dreams, then it's Journey of Dreams. So you see, if you look at the bigger pattern, Sonic is real. Yeah. I
don't know. I mean, I guess it's fine. I don't find it some kind of violation to depict Knights driving a vehicle any more than any of these other guys. I don't 100% understand why that maybe would move the needle for somebody, but if you just really want Knights back in car form.
I think the strangest thing to me is that why of all characters does Knights go on the box? Knights is pretty obscure.
Is it a color balance thing? Need some purple?
Yeah, maybe he's just one of the only ones who's in at launch.
Could be.
Maybe. Or
a lot of the guest characters are rolling out gradually, right?
Right. They are supposed to roll out gradually. I don't think that all of them are there at once. But Knights is the other Sonic Team franchise. So if you're like, oh, here's a Sonic game, and you got Sonic Team's logo, I feel like it doesn't matter how big or how small Knights is. It's just that's the other Sonic Team game. You gotta throw Knights on the cover. You want people to know, hey, look, there's Knights, that's Sonic Team, and then there's Ichiban, Ichiban. There's Like a Dragon Man, and you go, yeah, that's the game everyone knows.
Ichiban.
Whatever, he's like a Dragon Man.
That's true.
That's what I said. So I get it. I mean, it makes sense to me why Nice would be on the back cover, even though as a gaming icon, maybe he's not as relevant as other things they could throw on there, especially since Nice has had 2 games and the last one was bad.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. The person who stopped paying attention to video games right as Billy Hatcher in the Giant Egg release. Billy Hatcher should be in this game. Where is Billy Hatcher?
Probably in bed.
Yeah. Yeah, probably in bed.
Couple more little tidbits. What is this? Hey, did you play that open world test? Not open world, open test.
Yeah, we talked about it all last week. Where were you? Come on, what's going on here? You're making me crazy.
Right. Well, Bo didn't play, which means he wasn't one of the 1 million downloads of that game.
What?
That's impressive.
1 million. If you had downloaded it, it would have been 1,000,001, and they would have had to say that. That's right. The open network test racked up 1 million downloads, and 10 million races were experienced by players. That's 10 races on average. Probably some people played more than that.
That's really impressive. I know, like, giving something away for free probably will get a lot of takers, but I think that bodes well for the sales of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know what to compare it to, right?
Team Sonic Racing, right? I mean, that sold well, as far as we know from those leaked or released numbers that we talked about months back.
I think it is just the kids are really into Sonic right now and have been for a while. Like it used to be, it was pretty notable. I'm taking kids to school or to the park or the playground and you see a kid with some Sonic thing. But now it's just every time. It's not notable at all.
I don't hang around children as much, but I have seen them sometimes when I drive through the neighborhood or walk to places. I'm aware that children exist, and occasionally I'll see children that are wearing Sonic, and it does feel like it's at a higher frequency now, and seeing more just shirts out in the wild, hats, hoodies, book bags, because they're going back to school. I don't know if you knew that.
What?
I'm very aware. Yeah,
Bo's a father. That's the joke there. But we're also going back to school.
Oh, that's what our topic should have been this week. What's your top 5 back to school Sonics? I don't even know what that means.
I go back to school in stress dreams I have every couple of weeks where I haven't gone to this class all semester and somehow it's...
Oh, totally. Yeah, I guess that's a common... I have that too, or I used to have that. It's like you signed up for a class that you forgot about, you blew it off all semester, and now you woke up and it's the final exam and you've got to somehow make up for all this lost time that you can't get back.
And it's not like that ever happened to me, but
me either.
In my dream, it's we really need to prepare for this mentally.
Yeah. What's up with that? If you know the answer to why we have common dreams, email SonicWeeklyPodcast@gmail.com.
This ties in with Knight's discussion.
It does. And if you can tie it into Knights, definitely email SonicWeeklyPodcast@gmail.com.
Izuka was interpreting employees' dreams during the making of Knights. He says it in the interview.
Oh, that would be fun.
And then he said he had to stop because people were telling him really personal stuff.
I have these dreams where my family hates me, and I think, so you're gonna fly in a circle and collect goldfish. That's good to hear. That's what I'm hearing. What were we just talking about?
Oh, we were talking about Crossworlds. Hey, guess what? Did you know? Right. So a lot of people played it.
Yeah.
I guess it was successful. And if you still are on the fence, I think they announced the date for when the demo, the September 17th. If you missed out on the network test, or you still just want to play a little bit of Crossworlds before real Crossworlds comes out, there is a demo coming out September 17th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whoa. It's probably just the same first Grand Prix. I'd be surprised if anything else is there. But
probably. We got to be done with the news because there's no more news. It's all boring.
Well,
we got to switch to...
I didn't mention the last episode of Crosstalk came out. Remember that?
Oh, the little cartoons with the characters talking about the other characters.
More jet, more wave.
More jet and more wave.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, The last one came out. There's no more. We hope you all enjoyed it. Evan Stanley posted the credits for all of them. So now we know who made it, finally.
Oh, who made it?
Can you guess who wrote it? I'll give you one guess.
It wasn't me? Did I do it?
Did Sam do it?
Were you there? I
Wait.
don't remember you being there.
Wow, Sam, nice.
No, I was Ian. I assume it was Ian.
Yes, Ian was responsible for the script. Another Ian was responsible for the storyboards. Ian Muchler.
Muchler, yeah.
Yep.
Muchler.
Worked with him on the takeover last year. We did that for the social medias.
Wrote much of Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, right?
Indeed. Yep.
Mhm.
He's the two Ians are. Right now, Sonic is written by Ian, Evan, and they're looking for another Ian.
Oh.
That's what I heard.
Well, there's I have VI, right? Dave Ian, there is no, I have IA, not IV. I mean,
Anything to say about Crosstalk or Forever Hold Your Peace?
Right. Evan Stanley did the background, character art, voice direction. Stone Watson edited it, and
Good folks at Stone Watson. We know them.
yeah,
I know
and who came up with the idea? A vague lore team credit. I just figured if we've
The lore
mentioned this for
team.
8 weeks straight, we may as well say who the heck did it.
Yay. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's really nothing
yeah,
to
that's
say.
all good people involved. And yeah, we talked about it. And yeah, I mean, it's short form snackable content is getting you hyped for the game. If you're a kid, you're loving it. You're eating it up. If you're a Jet the Hawk fan, you're scooping it up like your Cocoa Puffs and you're going nutty and you're having a great old time.
Yeah.
And anyway, I want to turn to Rings of Saturn. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. I'm not stopping you.
Well, you're not helping me.
Yeah, well, that's because we weren't done talking about cross worlds. Now we are done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now there's nothing to say,
Alright.
which is fine.
Oh, okay, good. That's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bo, Rings of Saturn, catch us up.
Rings of Saturn, a couple of things going on this week. One is it was the 26th anniversary of the Dreamcast release in the United States and elsewhere.
Whoa.
And so I took a look at one of the launch titles, Arrow Wings, kind of a boring flight simulator, but they did another one, Arrow Wings 2. And in Japan, they did a bunch more. They did some bonus discs for the first two games, and then they did a third game. And all of these games have cheat codes that have never been reported, probably because the game is like a little too boring to want to even cheat at it. But you can unlock some cool looking planes in a couple of the games. You can get access to all the missions. You can get a free camera mode and just explore the air courses.
Oh.
And it's pretty cool and it looks nice on the Dreamcast. I was happy to find some hidden stuff in the Arrow Wings games. So that's the Dreamcast side. That was my 9.9 offering.
Nice.
And then today I was looking at a Saturn game called Hyper 3D Pinball. This was called Tilt! In the EU. And I found some cheat codes in this. You can save your ball, you can move the ball around or whatever. But really what stood out to me about this game is in the manual, they're really going a little hard. So let me read you this passage. It says, "So you think you're a hardened gamer? Think again. All those years that you've spent playing infinite variations on Space Invaders, those count for nothing. All those weekends bouncing from one Dayglow platform to another in one of the infinite variations of Donkey Kong, those count for zip. Until you've mastered this silver ball, you haven't even started gaming."
Wow. That's so aggressive.
That is.
It's so aggressive. It's like pinball is the ultimate form of gaming, but this is like simulated pinball.
Yeah.
Right. It's not even
But that's
real
also the same
pinball.
message as Sonic Frontiers, right? Does it not posit that pinball is the oldest game in the known universe?
You're right, it does.
That's true.
Every civilization has invented pinball if they've gotten advanced enough.
What a segue.
Before we segue, I gotta do a slight tangent, which is just like, Bo, this business that you do where you like go into the games and figure out codes and stuff is so fascinating to me, because when I was a kid, I just assumed that was like how magazines and books got the codes for video games.
They were like reverse engineering it.
somebody had to figure them out. And I was like, they must be like hacking these games open or something. And then, of course, as they got older, I found it's not true. So it just makes me happy to know that it can be true.
Bo is an inspiration. You're an inspiration.
I was so like feverish about finding cheat codes when I was a kid. It was like, I got to scour every magazine. I got to try all the button combinations. And now I can do it for real. So.
Nice.
You were an inspiration to your younger self.
Anyway, I had a great segue there, but Sam kind of stomped all over it. But we naturally sort of had a connecting point too, because this is a little bit of vine swinging to get to the point, which is okay. Sonic Frontiers and Donkey Kong Bananza. They are both games that are not Super Mario Odyssey level, but this is Sam's thought. So I guess, Sam, I'm setting you up to give us the thesis that we'll talk about in both directions.
Yeah, Grant just setting me up to present my thesis in the most incendiary way possible. But that's good. This is the place for it. The Mario team, the 3D Mario team, is one of my favorite developers. I love all of their games. So I was really looking forward to Bananza. And as I've been playing it, I have been struggling a little bit to admit that I don't love it. And, there was also kind of reluctance to do so. And the reluctance kind of lessened the deeper and deeper I got into it. And then by the time I completed the game, I realized that the game that it reminds me the most of, like as an experience, is not Mario Odyssey, but is Sonic Frontiers. And then I have a lot of the same feelings about Bananza as I do about Frontiers. And then by the end, I was like, and do I maybe even like Sonic Frontiers a little more than Donkey Kong Bananza? And I think maybe I do, which was shocking to me. But I just think that they have a similar kind of vibe of you're having a sloppy good time and they are just constantly feeding you candy. And that is just sort of the feeling of the game. And I don't know, I'm still kind of coming to terms with it a little bit as a feeling, because it is not where I expected to land on it. I'm happy to go into it. I know Grant wants me to, but Grant, what do you think before I lunge off?
Yeah, I mean, I love the bravery. I love the willingness to take a stand in the sand, draw a line somewhere also in the sand where you're standing, and say that Sonic Frontiers isn't the worst.
No,
it's
and
not.
It's
sometimes better than other games, and which games it's better than might surprise you, but it has to be better than other games if it's going to be in the middle, or even close to the middle top.
And I mean, you will recall from my previous discussion with you guys about these games, it's not that I think that, I mean, Sonic Frontiers is not a misunderstood or under-evaluated game. Like, I feel like people kind of received it like about where I think it lands. I think it's more just that I'm really surprised that the response to Donkey Kong has been as enthused as it is, because it's a game with a lot of like interesting things about it, but it's just also one of those open world games where it feels like they built a thing and then had to put stuff in it and then tried to tweak the dials until the stuff was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. So the whole thing's built around the digging, right? And everything has to be central to the digging. And they created a whole system for figuring out like the different materials and the ways that they interact with each other and like their relative properties for like weight and stickiness and all of that kind of stuff. And then it feels like at some point after they built that, they were like, okay, how do we make this any fun though? Because like when you dig in that game, there is something in the ground like every 2 seconds. And I feel like that is the biggest admission that they understood that digging on its own is not very fun, because it's just like people were clearly not motivated to do it if they weren't constantly being handed goodies for digging everywhere. And that is kind of like the experience that I felt like. At first it's a novelty to be able to dig everything, but at a certain point you realize you're just playing a video game version of ZBrush. Like it's just a 3D eraser, and it's a 3D eraser that's kind of a little tedious to implement. And then like the challenge that they have of trying to like build meaningful game experiences out of it, I don't know, it seems difficult. So it has that kind of loop that Sonic Frontiers has, where there are tons of micro goals and it's just constantly handing you goodies like all the time so that you feel good. It's like you are getting a banana or a fossil or some other kind of collectible or gold, like all the time it's just like shoveling it at you. So you're like, good, and the numbers are going up and you're making the chart go up, and like your stats you can spend it on your stats and all that. It's like this feedback loop. That's always, when I talk about something being like candy, that's always like what I mean, where it's just like a sugar rush at all times of that kind of thing. Totally. But then when they have to try and build any kind of like meaningful challenge out of that system, I just found like they struggled to make those not irritating, because of how inherently like sloppy and fussy a digging mechanic like that needs to be. Anytime you're like required to do stuff that involves precisely grabbing and throwing things, and when you go to throw things, they're constantly clipping on the ground or like another object, get where you're going, or you're trying to like use the elephant to dig out the stuff in front of you, but you wind up like digging out the ground that you're standing on. I don't know. I think I'm rambling here.
Well, yeah, maybe at the end. Why lie to you? You were rolling, but then I should have interjected and said that you're right, and I love it. And there is definitely like a similar. It's throwing everything. It does feel like it just feels more chaotic, whereas Mario Odyssey, everything felt very. I never felt on board with the like idea that there were filler moons, because everything felt very. Obviously, everything's deliberate. That feels like a very obvious thing to say. It's not randomly put there, but there was a elegance, and then there's a chaos to DK Bananza, which I think Sonic Frontiers also has, which you just described. Also, I think notable, or that maybe the listener doesn't know, or Bo and David don't know, but you're also like you're a platformer connoisseur. Platformer is one of your favorite genres, right? Right, absolutely. So it's like this is not just like, you're not just like, I've played 3 video games and these are the 3, but DK Bananza, like I was struggling to like articulate with why I wasn't loving it quite as much, and I think you've been hitting the nail on the head of like there is kind of just a hollowness to it. And when you compare like the rooms, the challenge rooms in DK versus the like speed boost rooms in Sonic Frontiers, again, it's kind of messier in Frontiers, but I like it more. David, you haven't played DK Bananza, but does this validate your decision to not play it?
I mean, I still intend on playing it whenever I get my hands on a Switch 2. But I do find this take very interesting, because I feel like the only confusion I've heard from people is all lore based. It's all timeline based. People getting upset about the story and what that implies regarding the greater Mario continuum, which we don't have to get into here.
No, actually, we should. Can we talk about that, Sam? Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, only in as much as that I can say that didn't hinder my enjoyment of the game in any way, because I don't super care about it. But like, I do think like, I mean, it's fine. People should engage with the games however they want, and they clearly like put stuff in there to kind of make people talk about it. I've said this to Grant before. I think like a fundamental piece of context that is lost when discussing the Donkey Kong lore is that like when Donkey Kong Country came out, the original Donkey Kong game was like 13 years old. Like, not very old. Like, the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is nearly as old now as the original Donkey Kong was when Donkey Kong Country came out.
Right.
And then in that game, Cranky Kong, who is identified as the original Donkey Kong, is like 100 years old. And the game opens with him playing the Donkey Kong theme song like on a hand-cranked Victrola, right? Like a record player from before there was electricity. So it's just like, the thing about Cranky Kong in that game being presented as the original Donkey Kong and all of that, it's like, it's just a joke.
Right.
It's just meant to be funny. Like, and I'm not saying you, like, in the game, yes, he's an old Kong and he's the previous Kong, and like that's what's happening in the story. But like the reason for that narrative decision was to be funny about how Donkey Kong seemed really old compared to CGI graphics and
exactly. It doesn't retroactively mean that the 1980s arcade Donkey Kong was Cranky Kong.
Yeah, I mean, like
it was still Donkey Kong.
Like it does in that context, I think, mean that Cranky is that character. But the reason Cranky is that character is just because it's funny. Like, it doesn't make sense, because then like Mario would also be 100 years old. And I know that people are like, oh, well, there's a different Mario too or whatever. And like, that is not the intent of that joke. It's just meant to be funny. Just like for the same reason it's like Donkey Kong has Diddy Kong, because it's a reference to how there's like Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. And then in the second game, Diddy has to save Donkey Kong, just like how Junior has to save Donkey Kong in Donkey Kong 2, right? Like, it's not. I think at a certain point you have to accept that when something is written to be comedic, that the joke is more important than anything else, right? Like,
Well,
and so
it's kind of like a sketch show with recurring characters. It's not like, oh, we need to fit this sketch into the timeline of these characters. It's
yeah.
we just put them in a funny situation.
So like when, Pauline is an adult in one game and then a child in another game, and like people are trying to reconcile, like, well, maybe her grandma or whatever. I mean, like, you can do that if that's fun for you, but like, just don't forget that the only reason that Cranky Kong is the original Cranky Kong or the original Donkey Kong is because it's funny, and it isn't meant to like parse any other way than that. It doesn't make sense that they would compare a 13-year-old arcade game to like 100-year-old piece of audio technology. Like, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Mario series in general just isn't big on continuity, right? It's one game, takes place during the 100-year festival, and then a few games later, it's like, it's 100 years later again. Why not?
And frequently, they will completely undercut the whole thing. From as early as Super Mario Brothers 2 being, it was all a dream.
Right.
Super Mario Brothers 3, it's all just a play.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're constantly like breaking the fourth wall and being like, we're just puppets, we're toys, we are, it's not like Mario's a dead inanimate object, and the life that you see is just a reflection of your own life, and that's the Mario inside us all, you see. But Mario is nothing. It's an idea. It's a Mamma Mia.
Oh,
It's the friends we made along the way. Yeah.
Exactly.
wow.
So there's a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. So I'm like, I wonder how like DK Bananza DLC seems unlikely. Maybe they'll add it to Mario Kart World, because it seems strange that adult Pauline is in the new Mario Kart game, but not the new teen Pauline. And every other character has tons of outfits, and you get tons of outfits in DK Bananza, but that's not reflected in Mario Kart World. What's going on there?
So instead of waiting to record, which we did not discuss ahead of time, we're just doing it. We'll talk about it next week. I have another important question for Sam, because and I guess you too, Grant. This is I swear this is an important question. If Donkey Kong Bananza is all about digging, how does that compare to the premier digging game experience, which of course, I'm talking about Dig Dug?
Yeah.
I would have said Balderdash.
Right.
I've never played Dig Dug before. I've played Mr. Driller a lot.
Oh, Mr. Driller's good.
Yeah.
Right, which is also about a father-son dynamic, right?
That's true.
It all ties together.
It's due for a remake.
Oh man, Mr. Driller Drill Spirits is a really good video game.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't rule Mr. Driller out of Crossworlds yet.
Yeah. I'm not. Definitely wouldn't. It's funny how Nintendo has made Knuckles games without Knuckles the last few times. People have pointed this out, but the Zelda reboot games with Breath of the Wild, gliding, fighting, climbing, and then here's digging and punching. It's all the Knuckles stuff. We've got everything we need to make a perfect Knuckles game.
It's true.
They're never going to do it. So you just got to sit with that, knowing that the pieces are there, but no one's ever going to assemble them. No one's ever going to unite them into the Infinity Gauntlet to create it. Anyway, so yeah, the lore, it's definitely a joke. It seemed clear to me that it was like, if it's the same Pauline, just younger, they kind of like wink towards that. She's the granddaughter, I think, is a bigger stretch, and also such a strange story that it suggests. Like that it's this generational conflict between Kongs and Paulines and Marios, and you're just determined to only repeat the same experiences that your father had or your mother had, and you're just sort of like this. It just seems very sad. So I don't prefer that version of the Mario lore.
Yeah, and I mean, I think also, like, the other reason when they made Donkey Kong Country that they wanted to create a narrative to explain how the character you play as is not the original Donkey Kong is because the original Donkey Kong is a kidnapper.
Right.
And they kind of probably wanted to put a little distance between those two things. And I feel like, honestly, even as much as they have the joke with Cranky Kong being the original and, making little nods to it, I don't think they would ever seriously suggest, like, oh yeah, when Cranky was younger, like, he literally kidnapped Pauline's grandma and, like, took her up a building and was scary. Like, I just don't I don't think that flies anymore. I don't think
Yeah.
that they are going to imply that any of their beloved monkeys are responsible for that.
Exactly. Yeah, it kind of like non-canonizes it and is just like this is a meta reference only.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And I think that is fine.
Yeah, he did start as a kidnapper. But then what happened in the sequel?
Mario
put down.
kidnaps.
Yeah, Mario.
Yeah, well, speaking of things
kidnapped him.
they're never going to acknowledge,
Yeah.
the
Right.
idea that Mario like imprisoned Donkey Kong, I think, also doesn't fly.
Doesn't he have a whip?
He was kind of circusy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then and then Donkey Kong Jr. has to rescue his father, and then in the third one they just bugs.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter.
Just
Who cares?
bugs. Don't
It's
worry
just
about
bug-
it.
Yeah, it's Bug and Bug 2.
Stanley, was that the guy's name?
Yeah,
The new player.
Stanley
Yeah,
the Bugman.
yes, it was Stanley the Bugman. I mean, I think there's ways you.
What are the odds that Stanley the Bugman appears in the Nintendo Direct tomorrow? What are the
Yeah,
odds?
roll them out of Crossworlds.
Can't rule him out of the new movie. Can't rule him out of whatever other Mario stuff is coming.
The movie is actually not that unlikely.
Right. They
Yeah.
already had the one Wrecking Crew guy.
Yeah.
And they got to fill out their New York with random dudes.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going back to New York in the sequel?
I do because of the leaked body spray.
What?
The way, well, okay. There's this leak where the title of the movie is supposedly leaked because of a promotional partnership with like Axe, or not Axe body spray, Old Spice.
Uh-huh.
And they just had two photos of the Old Spice that were different. I keep wanting to say flavors, but that's not the right word for it.
No, do not eat Old
Different
Spice.
scents.
Different
Different
scents.
fragrances.
And one of them was like, sorry, can we? I don't. Just what if the viewers care about spoilers for upcoming Old Spice scents?
Go for it.
Okay.
You already acknowledged it. Yeah. There. Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than revealing the title of the movie, which nobody cares about, they revealed that the title of these two scents were one of them was like a desert scent, and the other one was a Brooklyn scent, and they were clearly depicting like two places that they're going to travel to in the movie because they have like a picture of the environment, and then like in the desert one, they had a little desert guy from Mario Odyssey in there.
Yeah.
So I just assume these are the worlds that they're going to travel to. So I think we will see Brooklyn.
Okay.
Otherwise, this tie-in makes no sense, and the lore of the Old Spice tie-in is much more important than the lore of Cranky Kong.
So with the DK Bananza Sonic Frontiers comparison, kind of Game Pro style, Sam, I want to lob up some like ways, some categories for you to compare and declare one the winner or the other.
Okay.
We've kind of already talked about it, but we'll say, okay, well, no, let's start with lore. Sonic Frontiers or DK Bananza?
Like, do you mean like writing, or like just generally, or like specifically backstory?
I mean, the way I would interpret it is that DK Bananza has a lot of flavor text, so does Sonic Frontiers. The DK Bananza text is pretty playful. The references and the lore is, again, all playful. It's all pretty jokey, like you said. But there's some stuff that you can kind of, it's not as serious as Sonic Adventure 2, but there is the mystery of her grandma that Pauline keeps bringing up, her grandmother and her grandma, and there's some story there.
Yes.
And there's also an implied story of why DK cares about Pauline, which is unclear. It's just like she's a weird rock, and then the rock becomes open, and then he's helping her get to the center of the earth so that she can make a wish to be more confident. Just take a dream and wish to knights. That's how you become a better singer. But DK doesn't do that. He takes her to the center of the earth.
When you phrase it that way, it seems very funny. Just takes to the center of the earth, you know.
Yeah, as one does.
Yeah, I think Sonic Frontiers gets it on this one, and I am kind of thinking about more in terms of just the writing in general than the lore specifically. But I don't really enjoy the writing in Donkey Kong Bananza, and I mostly wish it wasn't there.
Man, it must be bad.
Well, it's not. I mean, some of this is a personal thing, but like, there's a certain kind of like NPC writing that appears in Zelda a lot. It's my go-to example, and I just don't like it. And it's the kind where it's like, here's a guy, and there's only one thing you need to know about this person, and every single line of dialogue that they ever say will be about that thing, but they will still have way too much talking. And like, coming into Donkey Kong from a perspective of sort of seeing it as a a semi-spiritual successor to Mario Odyssey. The big uptick in how much people talk is a large negative for me. I don't like it. I don't like how much time you spend talking to the boring animal NPCs. I don't like how much Pauline talks. I don't think Pauline's story is very interesting, and I don't think it adds a lot to the game to have this very one-sided chatter. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with her. I don't mean that she's like unpleasant. I don't mean to besmirch this child.
Besmirch.
Who doesn't exist, but it just doesn't add anything. And then they're trying to build in this implied arc that she gradually becomes more confident over the course of the adventure, and it's very forced. And it just sort of feels like they wanted to have like Disney movie vibes, but they didn't want to hire any real writers. Hard pass on all of that. I didn't like that aspect of Donkey Kong at all.
Okay, so
That's a tough comparison because like the Frontiers,
there's lots of problems with Frontiers. Lots of problems with Frontiers.
It's a pretty low bar, I think.
Yeah.
No shade to the people who worked on it. They did what they could with it, but
I think they're both examples of somebody being given a space to fill in that didn't particularly need anything in it, and just trying to figure out, well, what can I put in here?
I really like JRPG NPC dialogue where it's like, hey, I heard there was an item under that tree, and if you talk to him again later, it's like, oh, I bet there's still that item under the tree.
I always love to hear how they like their one thing and it's like bugs or something. It's like, oh man, bug. and they do it to Donkey Kong too, because Pauline, who has to have all these incredibly one-sided conversations with Donkey Kong because Donkey Kong can't talk. The number of times she mentions that Donkey Kong likes bananas is too far. And I know Donkey Kong loves bananas, and this is his whole thing. Pauline, this guy has got other things going on. Like,
I mean, imagine if it was like that in Sonic. If the only thing that Sage did was like referenced, hey, so I hear you like chili dogs. I hear that. I guess that monster must be full of chili dogs. You should go fight that monster.
It's always time to talk about bananas. But you can't blame her. What else is she going to talk to him about?
I'd love a Sonic boss where it's just filled with chili dogs. I don't know what you're talking about.
That could be like Sonic's dream.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of a stupid complaint, but it's still true.
I think you kind of covered it perhaps as a summary. Compare the two in terms of gameplay.
The thing that makes them feel similar to me is that they both kind of feel like they built a sandbox first and then they tried to figure out what you can do in it. Like after, it feels like a very kind of like top-down thing where like, when you play Sonic Frontiers, I mean, and we now know this to be true, it's very clear like they built these environments and they're like, what do you do in them though?
Right.
Other than just run around. And then the eventual answer is like, well, we'll build lots of things out of like these little reusable Lego brick type pieces to give you like platforming challenges, and like we'll have signs, and when you go to a sign, it will assign you a task, and then we'll think of tasks that can fit in the space that is already built. That is kind of like a bit like how I feel about the Donkey Kong game as well, where it's like they figured out that you could dig and like how all the digging stuff was going to work. And then it's kind of like, okay, now what can we give you to do that's meaningful in this kind of situation? Something I was thinking earlier, Grant, when you were mentioning like, oh, this is surprising you don't like this game because you really like platformers. It's like Donkey Kong Bananza is mostly not a platformer.
Right.
There's not a kind of actual platforming in this game, because when you can destroy all of the ground, it's very difficult to have like meaningful platforming challenges in that context, because you would be able to impede your progress, right? Like it's a climbing and digging game, and it's almost as close to something like Tears of the Kingdom as it is to something like Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
There's definitely some platforming in it, especially, in some of the challenge stages and stuff. But like, I would say it's like less of a platformer even than like Sonic Frontiers is.
Yeah, that's where I was trying to go with it before, is exactly that, of like, that was just your note on it, that DK Bananza doesn't really have true platforming. It is more of like an action game like Zelda than it is platforming.
Yeah, so they build this sandbox where you can dig, and then they're like, okay, well, so now what are some things that we can make you do in that kind of environment? Well, you can dig in specific places to find things. We can make it so that there's some surfaces that hurt you when you dig, so you can't dig them the normal way. And then eventually we can resort to having unbreakable, non-diggable surfaces so that there can be some kind of structure that you actually have to like navigate, and you can throw things.
Yeah, and then there's the throwing.
Yeah, which I hate. That's
right, because you have to do it a lot in the later game.
You got to do a lot of throwing, and it's not a very fun system for throwing and naming things, in my opinion. I think it's kind of like, it's sloppy. It feels sloppy.
Last two things to compare it on:
Yay.
sound and fun factor.
Okay, I'm going to start with sound because this is another one of the ones where I kind of was surprised to find myself leaning towards Sonic. I don't really like the music very much in Donkey Kong. There's nothing like wrong with it, but the system that they have for using your Bananza powers, where they all have a song associated with them, to me is like very similar to like the Werehog in Sonic Unleashed, where it's just like every time that battle theme has to fire up again, you know, you just get sick of it. Because the Bananza movie music is all very hyper and loud, and like it would make sense if they were powers that you only used sparingly, but there isn't really any reason to use them sparingly because it's so easy to refill the energy meter on them.
Yeah.
You could just be using them constantly all the time, and I think it would be fun if you just did. And towards the end of the game, when there's a segment where they do let you use your powers all the time, that's great. It feels good to be able to use them all the time. So I found, if anything, earlier in the game, I would be discouraged from using the power specifically just because I didn't want to have to listen to the music. I would only activate them when I needed them for something, because they just play a theme like the Invincible music in Sonic or something that you don't want to hear endlessly. So I don't think I'm really sold on that, and that is the most pronounced musical aspect of the game. Sonic Frontiers is a game that is a lot of musical styles that are not necessarily my thing, but I feel like I've really kind of come around to Impressive's like achievement and big swing it was. Like the combination of the like, you know, the multi-part orchestral themes for the islands and like the you know, extensive like EDM stuff for the cyberspace stages, I think was like a very bold and well executed thing. Even the like, you know, the screamo themes for the boss fights, like it's a game that,
yeah,
like,
those
you
are
know,
three very different, you would think, like songwriting skills maybe, because they're such different genres, but they're all well done.
Yeah, it's very well executed for what it is, and it has like a vision to it that I think is ultimately more interesting than the music in Donkey Kong. Fun factor, this is the place where I kind of feel like I was just surprised that the games were as much on par with each other as they were, which is that, like, as much as I've harped on Donkey Kong, I don't hate the game. I just loved this developer and saw the reviews and was really expecting to go in and like just love it to pieces. And instead I had an experience very similar to Sonic Frontiers, which is like, it was a game where I had fun sometimes it was a little annoying, and a lot of the times I was having fun, it was because I felt like I was circumventing what I was supposed to be doing by like exploiting like systems in the game. And I understand that to an extent that's intentional, but it does just kind of contribute to this feeling that it's like, it's just very sandboxy and undirected, and you kind of have as much fun as you're willing to make of it. But when you actually narrow in on the like prescribed tasks that are being designed for you, that is often the most irritating part of the game.
Sam Logan, thank you very much. This was great. It was good to attend your Sam talk.
Thank you.
And now we have to go, and David's going to take us to bed.
That's right. We are going to all gather together. We're going to spin in a circle, and we're going to dig to the center of the earth so we can make a wish. And what is my wish when you reach the center of the earth? Why?
Don't say it, David.
Oh.
It won't come true.
Oh, okay. Hey, you reached the end of another episode of Sonic Weekly. That's right. That's right. That's what we're called. We're called Sonic Weekly. And if you've enjoyed what you've heard, and you haven't done already, we would invite you to subscribe to this show using your podcatcher of choice, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or for the Android faithful, Podcast Addict. Hey, when you're in app, give us a like, give us a rating, give us a review, do whatever you can inside whatever app you're using. That's how you get the word out, using their magic algorithms of podcastness. I don't know it. I don't understand it. But hey, if you reject all casters, oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you reject them all, we're over on YouTube at Sonic-Weekly. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe, and our voices, as always, are joined with video game footage recorded by friend of the show, Jack of Old Games. You want to reach out to the show? Hey, we have an email address. How fancy. SonicWeeklyPodcast@gmail.com. You could use this brand new invention to drop us a line. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to talk about. And hey, you can email us to get a link to our Discord server, where you can talk to some like-minded Sonic the Hedgehog fans about many things up to and including Sonic T. Hedgehog. If you're able to help support us in a financial sense, we're also over on Ko-fi. We're just Sonic Weekly there. Throw something in the tip jar, or for $5 a month, you can become one of our executive producers, just like these fine persons. PigDan, Pabsy, Sonikku, SavingThrows, Belgarion, Alt-Synth, Rat Liker 63, and Dr. Hate, PhD. That's right. He went to school. They went to school. I shouldn't assume gender. But if you're not able to, hey, we just enjoy the fact that you're here, and tell your buddies they're all welcome. Gotta thank Smoovies for the edit. Thanks, Sam, for joining us once again. And hey, thank you, Grant and Bo. Bo and Grant. Beauregard and Grantagard for, doing your thing.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Bo. Thank you, listener. Thank you, Santa. Good night.